Alright, game 4 here, and there are a few interesting paths here that you could go down. My first thoughts looking at the board was that, okay, there's Young Witch on the board. Young Witch is can be very potent, right? If the Bane didn't exist for Young Witch, that'd probably be the best cursor in the game, because simply because you could open with it all the time. And the filtering effect, incredible. But there's the Bane, which is Seller, and that's decent. There's also Trashing and Steward, which I open with, and Sacrifice. Trader also deals with Young Witch by bouncing the curses, giving you silver instead. So the Young Witch isn't so all powerful here. Seller is decent. You could stick a Seller in your deck and be happy with it, or two. That's fine. And the Steward, actually, more importantly, will help with those curses to trash. Um, Also, I was looking at conspirators and ways to activate them, because that is what I was thinking about. That's what I wanted my deck to look like, right? I wanted to try to activate conspirators and then by provinces. So I would get some wishing wells and then conspirators and then turn for points, right? That was my plan in the beginning. So you see the Young Witch from my opponent, Young Witch Steward versus Young Witch Wishing Well. So him buying the Young Witch there prompts me. I was gonna buy Wishing Well because I want to get the Conspirator chain flowing, but the Young Witch actually prompts me to buy a second Steward for the increased trashing. So, and I am gonna look to pick up a Seller, well, quite soon. I probably would have picked it up anyway without the Young Witch threat around, but I'm gonna do that on this turn here. Pick up a Seller, try to get some um, defenses up. So Wishing Well turns up on turn 4, which is exactly where you want it to turn up. Guaranteed lab for you here, and it allows me to trash a couple of estates and pick up a Seller. Trashing the 2 estates is very good. It makes the Wishing Well guessing a lot easier. So I get junked here, not able to block. Right, so I was mentioning that there were a few lines you could pursue on this board, right? And the spectators who looked at the game seemed to have a lot of fun while we were playing and seemed to test this board out, trying different strategies. So I will try to talk about some of these strategies they discussed. I didn't think about them, but they did, so that's good. I have something additional to present to you here. So they seem to like this Steward plan. So you Steward, trash very aggressively, pick up Wishing Wells along the way, whatever, but you want to get to a point where your deck is like Steward and 3 couples. You will have Wishing Wells, sure, but you could play them. When you have that deck, you can buy Windfall. So I haven't spoken about Windfall yet. I am going to play this Seller here just to throw everything back and look for my Steward to trash. That's the only reason why. Hopefully I could get something better than 4 coppers, and I do actually manage to find a Steward with targets to trash, so that's very good for me. Right, so the Windfall gives you 3 gold if there's nothing in your deck and discard pile, and Steward can get you there actually quite easily, especially if Wishing Well is kind to you, and also you make, reasonable guesses with it. So you could get down to the Windfall territory quite quickly and then start to buy provinces from there. There's no plus buy on the board, so no reason to build past $8 here. You just want to get your business done as soon as possible. So they like that. Even without the rest of the board, just Steward and Windfall is actually quite nice. Any trashing and Windfall, but especially Steward, because Steward is money. You can recover more quickly than from, say, Chapel if you go, trash happy. Anyways, back to the game. This is an interesting decision point for me here. I was thinking about trashing, but I stopped. Didn't trash, which is strange for me. And I went for the +2 coins instead to pick up a gold. Why did I pick up the gold? Well, I want to be able to trash with Steward in future turns and still be able to buy things like Wishing Well. That's good for my deck, right? If I don't have the gold, I probably can't buy anything if I'm trashing with Steward, and I want to be trashing with Steward. Additionally, now I'm starting to see myself here that it is actually possible for me to get to Windfall reasonably quickly. So maybe I want to push for a more money strategy here, as opposed to going for this conspirator thing. So So I have a gold, Windfall will give me 3 more, that's 4 gold in a very thin deck. And I have sellers floating around that could help me pair up my golds, right? So that is actually where I'm looking to go now, down the Windfall territory, what they were talking about in the chat. So they were mentioning that if your opponent goes for the Young Witch against your Steward plan, then 1 Windfall is sufficient to win. Instead, if your opponent goes for a bunch of Groundskeepers with like a sacrifice at the end to trash whatever victory card you buy, so you could play 5 Groundskeepers, buy Province, and then trash the Province on the next turn with the sacrifice, golden deck style. If they're doing that, then you need a couple Windfalls to beat them. And it works, the Windfall thing works, but you have to just decide how many you want based on how your opponent is playing. And another interesting thing they pointed out was that the Groundskeeper deck can actually just beat Young Witch and Money, which is interesting. It's not something that I would expect. I'd expect them to be, I don't know, roughly equal. If you just go for Groundskeeper and trash it, right? Versus Young Witch. I mean, it's Young Witch. Young Witch is good. Young Witch and Money is good. Apparently the Groundskeeper could just beat it out. The golden deck style, I presume, is what they were talking about. So yeah, that's some interesting lines you could go down here, right? How many Windfalls to buy, how good is the Groundskeeper thing, things like that, right? So I didn't play my Seller here because I was deck tracking and I knew there's good stuff in the back, so I didn't play the Seller. Instead, just choosing to trash, and these are the last 2 coppers in my deck here now. I'm very close to Windfall territory, and if you notice, my opponent has stopped playing the Young Witch now. I mean, I have the Sellers in my hand more frequently, of course, but he also needs to start trashing to improve his deck quality. An additional thing with the Young Witch is that if you play Young Witch, you can never buy Windfall because there's always something in your discard pile. So that might be part of the reason to why he's not playing Young Witch. Here I thought he would have gone for Windfall, but he goes for Groundskeeper here. Right, so we talked about the Groundskeeper before. He goes for Groundskeeper here, so maybe he's going for a Groundskeeper style deck. Not sure. He actually has the deck that they were talking about, right? Steward and 3 coppers. I have the gold and some sellers and whatnot. But yeah, he has the style deck that they were talking about in the chat. The Steward, 3 coppers, and then you could buy Windfall and go. So I thought that would have been Windfall. Instead, he opts for the Groundskeeper, looking for a longer game, which is fine, I mean, right? But here is where I can't play the Seller if I want to buy Windfall, right? Well, I could play it, but just don't discard anything, which is kind of dumb. Here, I could play the Seller, right? Discard a Steward, and then trash the last 2 coppers out of my deck with the remaining Steward. That is a line that I could go down, but I'm not going to take that line. In fact, here I'm going to pick up the Windfall, so I'm going to draw with the Steward. I know it's a bit iffy to do so in terms of, because he still has a Young Witch, right? I still need to defend against that. If I'm not careful, I will get flooded and lose the game. But I am going to take the Windfall here. I feel like I can deal with it, and having the coppers around in a money deck isn't as bad as having it around in an engine type deck. So I do take the Windfall with the 2 coppers in my deck. It does make it more difficult for my Wishing Wells, but now I just have to be very, very careful and meticulous and know all the cards in my deck and where they are, where my sellers are, where the golds are, and just track appropriately. Try to leave $8 in each hand and make reasonable guesses with Wishing Well. So I guess copper there, because if there was something good on top, I would have drawn it anyway, and I did. It was a gold, and now I have 8 for a province, and I don't think I'll play the Seller because there's 2 gold in the back with another Steward, so there's guaranteed province in the next hand with a Seller too, so guaranteed protection. That's real good. That's exactly what I want to see. My opponent in the meantime has picked up a Conspirator, so more engine style here. I'm not sure what he's going for at this point, if we'll see more Groundskeepers or not, but in fact he actually also goes for the Windfall at some point. I think it is at this point. and yeah, he's stopped playing that young witch entirely, right? In fact, I think he has to play the Steward now if he wants to buy Windfall. He doesn't have any other money in his deck outside of a silver, maybe. I'm not even sure if he has the silver, to be honest. So you see the Steward come out, and I think this is the turn where he picks up the Windfall. So he's just a little bit behind me now if he's trying to pursue my strategy, right? He has the Groundskeeper and the Conspirator extra. Yeah, he doesn't have the silver. He has the coppers actually, 3 coppers. So he was probably thinking about trashing there. So again, just I don't want to cause a shuffle and cause a Steward, a Seller, and 2 gold to miss. There's no way that's a good thing to do. Just going to get all the way to the end of the shuffle, reshuffle everything, and we're back in business. 4 gold, let's go find them, let's buy provinces, right? Very, very simple. So I have 2 now, my opponent has none, so I'm well in front of that, and I need to be able to keep up, right? Oh, he didn't buy Windfall last turn, I apologize. This is the turn he bought Windfall because he trashed last turn with his Steward. He trashed this turn with his Steward and picked up. Oh, he picked up the goal last turn, trashed this turn with his Steward, bought Windfall. Okay, so now his deck is similar to mine, except, well, a little bit better because he has the Conspirator and the Groundskeeper, but I'm gonna make it so that it is too late. He won't be able to reap the benefits from his slightly better deck. So this seller is gonna find me a couple gold and a Steward. And in there is 2 gold, not a Steward, but there's 2 gold in there and a Seller as well. So I think that's good enough to keep. I have defense. Now that he has the Windfall, I feel like he is more at liberty to play that Young Witch. Simply just to look for the gold. There's no need to play the Steward anymore. And I'm not applying any cursing pressure on him whatsoever. So he's very thin. He can switch his terminal of choice over now to the Young Witch if he wants to. So it is perhaps even more important now that I keep my sellers around, try to control where they are as much as possible. So I actually do have exactly 8 here. I'm not going to trigger the shuffle, of course, and pick up province number 4. Province number 5 is going to be real good for me. I don't think he could do enough with Silk Roads to cut in front of me at this point. So he has the Groundskeeper for another province. That's province number 2 for him. Here I am looking for province number 5. Going to wish for something bad, because if it's something good, the seller will find it for me. Turns out to be a gold, so I know I'm getting 1 gold on top of my deck. I have the Steward in hand just to find another one. So said, so done. And that's province number 5, and that's just an excellent position for me. I do have 2 gold in the remaining cards as well as a seller. I just need to find money. But I don't think I find money here. And at this point, my opponent is just pretty far behind. He has to go for Duchy at this point, and his deck, well, it's fine. It's not wrong. Nothing's wrong with his deck. He does pick up the Duchy. Here I'm gonna go searching for yeah, the thought is whether to go searching for the Steward or not, and I actually do decide to trigger the shuffle even though there are 2 goals here. If I can find the Steward, that'll be the end of the game. But I don't find the Steward, I find the gold, and I finish the game. So that is game 4. Very, very interesting. All these lines with that, and Windfall. Windfall is like the star of the show here. So, but all the lines with Young Witch and Groundskeeper. Yeah, there you go. Thanks for watching.